Solid waste management is one of the most pressing environmental challenges faced by urban and rural areas of Nigeria. Now, with a population exceeding 170 million, Nigeria has been described as one of the largest producers of solid waste in Africa, even with a number of policies and regulations. Research shows that Nigeria generates more than 32 million tons of solid waste annually, out of which only 20 to 30% is collected. Reckless disposal of municipal solid waste, MSW, has led to blockage of sewers and drainage networks and choking of water bodies. We also discovered that most of the wastes are from households and, in some cases, local industries, artisans, and traders who litter their immediate surroundings. Improper collection and disposal of municipal waste has also led to environmental catastrophe, as the country currently lacks adequate budgetary provisions for the implementation of integrated waste management programs across the states of the Federation. On Nigeria Today, we shall take a critical look at solid waste management in Nigeria and the challenges. I am Joy Usiago. Welcome to the program. The program is Nigeria Today, and with me in the studio to take a critical look at the challenges of solid waste management is Dr. Bawuru Yahya. Is the board chairman, Abuja Environmental Protection Board. He's also an environmental consultant with specialization in erosion and flood control. He also retired as a director of the Federal Ministry of Environment. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you.
Despite the heavy rains outside, we're glad you could make it.
No, it's a pleasure that I'm with you in the studio.
All right, let's start this way. What is solid waste?
Yeah, solid waste generally is waste that are generated by human beings, as well as any other thing. For example, you know, if we come to talk of solid waste, most people fundamentally believe that it is only related with the activities of human beings, but sometimes even animals in a sort of way contribute to the generation of solid waste. And as you have said during the introduction, solid waste is one of the most important and serious problems facing our country. It is estimated, as you have said, that using per capita production of waste for urban centers of about 0.5 kilogram per inhabitants and 0.3 kilogram per inhabitants for urban, Nigeria is generating, as you have said, over 32 million tons of solid waste. And even a ton of solid waste, if it is piled, you'll be surprised of what to see. So if we talk about millions, so it is terribly a problem for the country.
So give us a general picture of the, I know that you're the chairman of the Abuja Environmental Protection Board, but of course, given the background you have, give us a picture of this situation across the country.
Yes, as I have said, we normally consider the generation of solid waste differently from urban and rural areas. Definitely urban dwellers generate waste more than the rural dwellers. And as the population of Nigeria is slowly and steadily going into urbanization. So the problem of waste will continue to increase. Lagos State alone, with a population of about over 20 million, if you factor 0.5 kilogram per an inhabitant of Lagos, you will find that Lagos alone is generating over 10 million cubic about 10,000 tons of waste per day. So for Abuja, where I am really concerned, as of 3 years or 4 years ago, we were estimated that we were generating waste of about 1,000 to 1,500 tons of waste per day. But with the influx of people in Abuja within a space of only 5 years, about other 1.5 to 2 million people have entered Abuja, and they are also generating this waste. So we are in the process of generating about 2,000 to 2,500 tons of waste.
And that's all good. So now that we're looking at the population, and it seems as if as the population is growing, this challenge is also expanding. What is the problem? Is it that people are not conscious, they are not aware of a proper way of waste disposal, or is it that we have a lackadaisical attitude towards waste disposal? Yeah,
I think it is both. Fundamentally, many people are unconcerned about waste management, especially if I am talking about Abuja. We have laid down a lot of ways of collecting waste in Abuja, but you find that many people, either they don't cooperate or they don't participate in assisting the Abuja Environmental Protection Board in collecting this waste. And some of the people don't even understand or are not aware that they are generating so much waste. Because some people, they see every day, they just pack small waste and dump in front of their house. But if they multiply themselves by about 1 million of them, so the small waste that they dump in front of their house multiplies into a big heap.
Now, you've touched on a very critical issue, which is awareness. You said some people are not aware. So since we're using Abuja as a case study now, what is the Abuja Environmental Protection Board doing in terms of creating awareness?
Yeah, creating awareness is one of our fundamental part of our work. And we are collaborating with especially NTA Channel 5, which is the TV station that is basically mostly watched by Abuja people. They are doing a lot for us. For example, after each news, you find that they spare the last part of the news or the last part of the program and always call on Abuja indices to please maintain the environment clean by collecting their waste, putting it in appropriate places where those who are responsible for the collection to come and collect.
Now, has that helped in any way?
Yeah, it is. And also, somebody like me, I always, at any opportunity that I get to talk to the people, I always tell them that they are part of the stakeholders in Abuja, making Abuja clean. So they should please help the Abuja Environmental Protection Agency to ensure that waste are not only properly collected, but if it is collected and is not taken to the waste transported, they should immediately inform us, so that we have set about 3 ways of transporting waste to the dump site. We have some cleaning contractors who are charged with the responsibility of every day coming to collect waste in those main highways and in seriously populated areas. We also have our own equipment that in those areas, because Abuja is so much growing in size. For example, like what I told you before, about 3 years ago, when we were involving the cleaning contractors, those who collect our waste, we divided in Abuja into about 28 areas for the collection. But after only the 3 years that we have given them, now when we come to give the next batch of cleaners, we found that it is necessary to expand it to 48 because of the rapid expansion of Abuja. So we are also sometimes liaise with the AMAC, Abuja Municipal Council, because as you know, waste management, part of it is vested in local government municipalities. But since most of these municipalities don't have the capacity, so they usually liaise with the Environmental Protection Agency or board that is located within the municipality so that they can join hands together and collect the waste.
Now that you're talking about the people you work with, let's look at the issue of synergy, working with those who are involved in waste management, collection process and all that. How is that working out well for you? How proactive are they in terms of waste management? Well,
it's one of the most serious problems we are facing because there is a lot of conflicts between especially our agency and Abuja Municipal Council. But all these things is as a result of little misunderstanding, which they shouldn't be there.
Don't you meet regularly to discuss and agree?
Yeah, we meet, but you know, fundamentally some of these government agencies, they focus more on revenue generation than actually synergizing with relevant agencies to work. So we have a problem of sometimes having conflict with the Abuja Municipal Council.
Now, what about the issue of policies and regulations? What are some of the policies and regulations that we have concerning this area?
Yeah, it's a very serious problem because, you know, Abuja Environmental Protection Agencies Act was enacted about 20 years ago. And during that time, Abuja was very small and the Naira was very strong. So you find that sometimes infringement on some of our laws attract only 500 Naira. As at that time, 500 Naira was much. But as of now, obviously 500 Naira cannot serve as a deterrent.
So there's a need for review.
Yeah, obviously. Even before the present board came, the Abuja Environmental Protection Board have decided to go through the laws and change some of these penalties. And by the time we come, they have already forwarded it to appropriate authorities, which will pass it to the National Assembly for review. Because most of the punishments are not really deterrent as of now.
Now, I'm glad that from your introduction, it showed that you worked and retired from the Federal Ministry of Environment. So you can actually talk about Abuja Environmental Protection Board and talk a bit about what happens at the federal level. How proactive is the Federal Ministry of Environment in this area, considering that you retired from there as a director?
Definitely, the Federal Minister of Environment is very much in control of the situation. But you know, fundamentally, environmental issues are capital intensive. So just like we have a constraint of funds in Abuja Environmental Protection Board, so also with the Federal Minister of Environment. But every activity that we do, we synergize with them, and every activity that they do, they also synergize with us. So we are in constant contact with them, especially in the area of this solid waste management. Because when I was there was a study that was recommended for about 80 cities, one of which is Abuja, for a engineered landfill system, which is better than what we presently have. We just have an ordinary dump field now. But as at that time, there
so
was
what changed that? Why did that change?
Well, it is not that it has changed. That is what has been there. It is now that we want to change it to the engineering landfill. Because of late, there are so many technical and reputable contractors and consultants that have submitted proposals for a well-deserved landfill system for Abuja. And so far we have identified about 3 of them, 2 and 3 of them. We are going through their submissions, and then we call them and then discuss with them, interview them, and finally arrive at one which we believe is the best. And submit it to the minister, because it is one of his goals. Because immediately the board was inaugurated, it was the first thing that he charged us, that since he came, his most important problem is about solid waste. So we should assist and do something for it before before our tenure ends.
All right, that's it. Yes. We'll take a short break now. You're watching Nigeria Today, and our focus is on the challenges of solid waste management in the country. Let's pause for a break. The program continues shortly.
Refuse, when you are talking about refuse disposal, you are talking about the things that you have used and they are no more useful. So your alternative way of trying to put them and later on take them to a place and keep.
In my place, we have a dumping ground that we package all our refuse in our respective homes, and we take it to that place.
There's no a human being that with his reasoning or her reasoning that will not say that when you don't dispose your waste properly, you are inviting epidemic for yourself and even for the environment.
Basically, there's a little government can do, like providing waste bins, so that when the community gathers them, they should be able to put them in a particular place. Because what happens most times is that you see when you are approaching certain satellite towns, you will see a big rubbish dump. I believe that if there's a better, something is done, like giving out some bins to be located at certain strategic points, it could help.
I see it in 2 ways. Let's say in the household area, it should be the responsibility of the resident, the citizen of the country, understand? Then on the other way around, there should be a refuse bin being provided by the government, so that refuse being taken away from home can be disposed properly in the refuse bin.
Thank you for staying with us on Nigeria Today, and our focus is still on the challenges of solid waste management. Dr. Yahya, you listened to some of our respondents out there. What is your take concerning their views?
I'm really impressed, especially with the woman that said waste management is fundamental for us to make us healthy. If we don't control our waste properly, there is tendency for outbreak of diseases. As well as the man who said waste collection and transportation should be done in synergy between those who generate the waste and the government that help them to, that has not helped them, that has the responsibility to dispose it properly. So I am happy that the awareness is seeping down into the community and the public.
That's the point. You see, they are aware. They are even telling you what can be done to solve this problem. And yet, people still go ahead to generate more waste. So my question is, where is that problem coming from? Is it that people are not making deliberate effort or attempt to help government solve this problem?
No, I think the most important thing that we are facing is the increase in population. You see, in as much as many people are aware, there are also some that even if they are aware, they don't cooperate. So with the influx, especially in Abuja, because whatever I say, I want to refer it to Abuja. Yes. There is so much increase in population, especially because of this conflict. And those who come in are mostly below average people who cannot differentiate, who cannot, in the process of their day-to-day life, they don't have time to do much about the solid waste that they are generating.
And when you refer to that group of people, that tells me that they're coming from the state. So let me take you to the sub-nationals now. How can the state also work? I know at the federal level, the federal government is trying, from what you just said about the Ministry of Environment. But what about the states? How can they key in to what is happening at the federal level?
Yeah, it's a serious problem because, as I have told you before, in states, since the Constitution says that waste management is the sole responsibility of local government, most states tend to forego and say this is a problem of local government. And you know the problem of local governments, of lack of funds. There is so much shortage of funds and shortage of manpower and shortage of knowledge in the local government, to the extent that things are just not working well.
Is it about shortage of fund, or in terms of management, proper management of the resources, the funds they have?
Well, I think the management may not be there, but the fundamental thing is that they don't allocate enough resources for waste because they don't see it much as a threat or as a danger.
Don't we have that same funding challenge at the federal level?
Well, we do, but you know the difference is that as much as we do, but there is semblance of government giving adequate to the limit of the resources available to them. The federal government and the Abuja FCT administration, they do something and they have the manpower. But if you go to states, they just don't care about it. I was the director of Adamawa State Environmental Protection Agency. I knew what I went through before they even started to know that this waste they are generating is the management of that waste is the responsibility of the government. If you talk of it at that time, they will just say, is it not federal?
So it's about passing
yes,
balls.
Exactly.
Okay, I want you to touch on something quickly because of time. It's about plastic waste. That seems to be a huge problem.
It's a very serious problem, very, very serious. And it's one of the things we are looking into in Abuja Environmental Protection Board. In fact, during our last board meeting, we called two contractors who said they want to come and establish an incinerator for the problem of plastics, as well as putting up an industry for the recycling of plastics. You see, if you put an incinerator and burn plastic, the toxic smoke that it emits is a problem. If you say you are going to recycle it, there is still the problem of disposing. Most people will think the best way is to recycle and to incinerate and burn it. But sincerely speaking, we are making an environmental impact assessment to find out which best practice to be done as far as plastic is concerned. It's a very serious problem.
How long will that take?
Well, you know, plastic is a problem all over the world. So we we have to use experts, and see, we cannot give a time frame, but definitely it is one of our greatest challenges because of the seriousness of what plastic is doing, blocking our drainages, killing our animals, and so on and so forth.
All right, Dr. Bauru Yaya, Chairman, Abuja Environmental Protection Board and environmental consultant with specialization in erosion and flood control. I want to thank you very much for sharing with us this evening from your wealth of knowledge. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thank you. It's a pleasure.
And that's our program for today. We want to thank you very much for staying with us. We hope you join us tomorrow for another interesting and insightful topic. Till then, I am Joy Useagu, thanking you for your time. You can also watch any edition online at www.youtube.com/NTA News 24 Hub. Thank you and have a wonderful evening.